2 after the swearing in and the first meeting as a body, Senate President Shawn-Michael Malone expressed that this group will be different and that they should lead by example. Plus an update on the corruption case of former Senator Alvin Williams after a plea application is filed in district court. Meanwhile, Police Commissioner Henry White Jr. hands in his resignation. Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. On Monday, News 2 brought you highlights from the swearing-in ceremony of the 30th Legislature, as well as their first meeting as a body. Senate President Shawn-Michael Malone expressed that this group will be different and that they should lead by example. But was everyone in agreement? News 2's Erica Bivens has more.
On Monday, the 15 senators convened their first meeting here as a body and approved a motion to establish the rules and organization of the 30th legislature. Majority members, including which committees they will chair, include Senator Shawn-Michael Malone, Samuel Sanes, Jeanette Millen-Young, and Craig Barshinger, as well as freshman senators Diane Capehart, Clarence Payne, Kenneth Gittens, and Clifford Graham. Returning from years past are Myron Jackson and Donald Cole.
And I welcome all incoming senators.
Minority members include Terrence Nelson, Judy Buckley, Alicia Hansen, Narita Rivera O'Reilly, and Tregenza Roach. But many majority members say they hope to work together.
And in this legislature, it'll be particularly important to make sure that we have a balance between what we bring for each island.
While most of the minority members voiced an interest in being a team player, some also raised concerns.
And so, Mr. President, I look at your statement and you say that you want a new direction on how we do things. And I just want to note for the record that while we talk simply about adopting a resolution naming officers to the body, we're also presented within 5 minutes with a book of rules of 92 pages. And that is why I voiced my objection, because I think I would have needed more time.
Others offered advice.
I just want to urge you to do what is right for the people of the territory, regardless if it costs you your job.
The first branch of government is your government.
One senator even dedicated her first term.
His name is Eli Moving. He was killed in a car accident. He was one of my disabled clients that I worked for once. And he reminds me of why I also wanted to run for the Senate.
Governor John P. Young Jr. also issued a release congratulating the new body, stating he looks forward to working with each of the senators to enhance and improve the efficient delivery of services to the people of the territory, and further, that the territory faces many challenges and the work will not be easy. For News 2, I'm Erica Bivens.
And the swearing-in events will continue Wednesday, where the public is invited to an ecumenical service at the Friedensburg Moravian Church in Frederiksted. That's at 10 a.m. A meet and greet will follow at the St. Croix Legislative Complex. Act 7303 created the Legislative Youth Advisory Council, and Senator Terrence Nelson is encouraging youth organizations to submit nominations to the Senate immediately. 8 youth between the ages of 14 and 23 will be selected from each district.
A selection committee will be formed who will select who these 16 representatives will be. They will have some territorial meetings, and they will actually submit legislation to the legislature for its consideration. And we believe this is one way to empower young people. Act 7414 created the budget for it. This year it's to have a budget of some $75,000. And again, this is for children to participate in proposing initiatives which will be on their behalf.
According to court documents filed Monday, former Senator Alvin Williams Jr. has agreed to plead guilty to 1 count of a 9-count grand jury indictment from November. The first count of the indictment deals with racketeering from violations in the 27th, 28th, and 29th legislatures. Williams faces a maximum sentence of 20 years in jail, an aggregate fine of $250,000 for the 1 count. Under the terms of the plea, the government would dismiss counts 2 through 9 for Williams and bring no further related charges. News 2 will keep you updated. Meanwhile, in the election lawsuit, it's been a back-and-forth battle between 5 pro se plaintiffs, all former candidates in the 2012 election, and the defendants, which include each district's elections board chair, the joint boards, and supervisor of elections. The latest in this case stems from District Court Judge Raymond Finch, who denied the 5 plaintiffs' first motion to reconsider a TRO on Monday. Still pending is Finch's response to the second motion to reconsider by the plaintiffs, along with their motion to stay. The plaintiffs argue several local and federal laws have been broken by the defendants. The Attorney General's office, who represents the defendants, maintain the plaintiffs have no standing in district court. News 2 will continue to update you on this case. Well, last week, St. Croix senators of the 30th legislature met behind closed doors to talk about strategic legislation to move St. Croix forward. The body met with reporters after the meeting, and the question came up about the possibility of Hovenza returning. News 2's Erica Parsons has more on what some of the senators had to say.
Rumors continue to swirl about the possibility of a Hovenza return, and while members of the community remain hopeful, 2 St. Croix senators responded candidly to reporters about what limited information they do have.
I'm not certain if any of my colleagues could speak with any certainty, but if you understand what's happening nationally, there's a pipeline that's being built, constructed from that's coming down from Canada. It's passing to Oklahoma, coming, and it's intended to reach the Gulf Coast.
Senator Nelson says that pipeline was previously tied up in politics, but those issues have now been resolved, possibly paving the way for a Hovenza comeback.
That sweet crude is going to be accessible to refineries in the latter part of this 2013. So there's a lot of speculation, as you've heard, about the refinery probably reopening not only as a storage, but in some part as some type of refining might be taking place. And I'm saying this again based on what's being reported by the oil experts.
Senator Alicia Hansen said the last update they got from the governor was late last year.
What I gathered from one of the things that we learned was that Hovenza had no interest in letting their permits get away from them. They didn't want to give up their permits. That tells me that they have an interest, an attachment to that plant here on St. Croix.
Hansen says just that knowledge should give the VI government the edge in any further negotiations.
We are to negotiate in a position of strength, especially with the other piece of legislation that we passed in the Senate, which gives a leverage to any other competitor coming into, and that's big, into the Virgin Islands with any interest for our energy issues.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
The Hovenza refinery shut down refining operations in February last year and have been operating as an oil storage terminal since July. Calls to Hovenza officials were not returned by news time. Well, VI Police Commissioner Henry White Jr. has resigned his position as the VI's top police official. A Government House statement said White tendered his resignation as police commissioner, and Governor DeYoung accepted it effective February 15th. The governor said he spoke with White earlier and thanked him for his service. Since he came on board in November 2011, DeYoung said this new vacancy and that of assistant commissioner position provides the opportunity to transform the VIPD's leadership. St. Croix Police and Department of Education officials are investigating a bomb threat made early Monday morning against the John H. Woodson Junior High School. Officers received a threat by phone around 7 a.m. on Monday, and another call was made to the school. According to Woodson Principal Vaughn Hewitt, staff and students followed evacuation procedures while the VIPD's K-9 unit searched the grounds and eventually let students back in class around 9:30 a.m. Officials asked that anyone who knows any information on this incident to report it to authorities. Before we continue, we need to make a correction. In Monday night's newscast, we read a police report about the arrests of 3 men. However, the mugshot of Flavel Magras was erroneously displayed. Here are the correct mugshots. Rociel Encarnacion, Edwin Hendrickson, and Francisco Hassel. The 3 were positively identified as the men who robbed 3 males at gunpoint in Estate Peters Rest and 2 more in Christiansted Town on January 13th. The suspects have been charged with first-degree robbery and possession of stolen property and unlicensed weapons. Bail was set at $75,000 each. We apologize for the error. Police are investigating a non-fatal shooting that occurred early Sunday morning on St. Croix. Police say a 33-year-old male victim was shot several times and was admitted into the hospital. According to the reports, police were dispatched to the Wanif Louis Hospital at about 3:15 a.m. on January 13 to investigate a shooting victim. Medical personnel indicated that the victim walked into the emergency room and asked for help. Police arrived when the victim was undergoing surgery. Anyone with information that could help is urged to call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. Well, President Obama is looking at the recommendations from his vice president's task force on gun violence. The president is expected to announce steps to curb gun violence before the week is up. For some of those measures, he'll need lawmakers' help, but he's also weighing what he can do without Congress. Danielle Nottingham reports from Washington.
Air Force veteran Mike Emerson uses his trips to this Northern Virginia gun range to unwind.
All I do is punch holes in pieces of paper with them.
Besides a handgun, Emerson also fires a semi-automatic assault weapon at the range. He says reinstating the assault weapons ban won't stop criminals from getting the gun. It will only keep it from people who obey the law.
People who are responsible, like me, will not be able to do what we like to do and what we do safely.
President Obama is going over recommendations to curb gun violence with the vice president today. As early as Wednesday, he could announce his proposals, but some are already meeting resistance here on Capitol Hill. Republicans led a reading of the Constitution on the House floor today.
The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Pro-gun lawmakers say an assault weapons ban will not pass Congress. President Obama says he will act on some ideas with or without Congress.
There are some steps that we can take that don't require legislation and that are within my authority as president.
He's considering 19 different steps, from beefing up federal data collection on criminals with guns to tougher penalties for gun trafficking. Many gun owners, like Mike Emerson, say they would support universal background checks.
People who shouldn't be shooting guns shouldn't have access to them.
Currently, weapons and ammo sold at gun shows and on the internet can be purchased without a background check. Danielle Nottingham, News 2.
And keeping our eye on the economy, stocks are lower as investors worry about discussions in Washington over the debt ceiling. If lawmakers fail to agree on raising the amount of money the U.S. can borrow by next month, the country won't have enough cash to pay its bills. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank Stock Market Watch. The Dow up 27, NASDAQ down 6, S&P up 1. Coming up on News 2, the USVI has made high rankings in the January 2013 issue of Travel and Leisure magazine's inaugural Best Beaches survey. Plus, these bins, donated by the Green Caribbean Initiative, have been placed at the Frederiksted Pier to encourage anglers to discard knotted or excess line in the bins rather than in the ocean. Details on the process. We'll be right back. Well, in tourism news, the USVI made a big splash in the January 2013 issue of Travel and Leisure magazine after scoring high rankings in their Best Beaches survey. The results feature Turtle Beach on St. Croix's Buck Island, Trunk Bay on St. John, and Megan's Bay on St. Thomas. Turtle Beach on St. Croix's Buck Island was ranked 4th for its seclusion. St. John's Trunk Bay earned the 2nd place rank in the Best Wildlife Viewing category, and Megan's Bay on St. Thomas rounded out the top 5 for its welcoming family atmosphere, swimming and water sports for all age groups. Loose fishing lines are expected to be no more on the Frederiksted Pier as the Virgin Islands Department of Tourism and Port Authority teamed up with the Green Caribbean Initiative to install the Caribbean's first fishing line receptacles on the Frederiksted Pier, an initiative to encourage a cleaner and safer environment for fishing activities. News 2's Janisha Jan brings us more.
The Virgin Islands Department of Tourism recently made a brand new addition to the Frederiksted Marine Pier. It's the Caribbean's very first fishing line receptacles, an addition that was brought about by an unexpected partnership.
Very, very grateful for the partnership that we've been able to form along with the Port Authority and the Caribbean Green Initiative. The recyclable receptacles that you have here on the Ann Abramson Marine Pier came about through an unfortunate incident but we lucked out in forming a new partnership.
The partnership came about when visitors associated with the Green Caribbean Initiative, a conservation group out of Florida, came to St. Croix for a diving experience at the pier and saw marine life destroyed by fishing lines.
They were diving, and unfortunately, they encountered a drowned hawksbill turtle that was just entangled in loose fishing line, and it was just an unfortunate sight. Because of their relationship with that environmental organization, they decided to offer us and donate these recyclable bins, and of course we took full advantage of it.
Receptacles such as this one have been placed throughout the Frederiksted Pier and are expected to be placed in similar locations on St. Thomas and St. John to provide a safer fishing environment.
I think it's a great initiative. Of course, that the pier is also famous for fishing. We have a lot of locals that come out here and enjoy the great fishing that you have here. And sometimes, you're fishing and you have all this excess lines after you've caught your big fish, and there's nowhere to put it. So we're encouraging those folks that come out and enjoy the pier to help us make sure that others can enjoy it as well, and to make sure that our marine life is also safe for the environment as well, so others can enjoy. So they're installed here, so when you use your line, you just wrap it up, put it in the bin, and the Port Authority is going to make sure that it is recycled.
Janisha John, News 2.
Again, this is the first phase of the bin installation program. Plans are to identify additional locations on St. Croix and extend the program to the St. Thomas St. John district. Well, the Christian said bypass opened quietly and without fanfare early Saturday morning after Governor John DeYoung made that request. The governor directed Public Works Commissioner Darrell Smalls to open the roadway ahead of schedule to help ease the traffic congestion in downtown Christiansted. Motorists have complained about the traffic delays caused by WAPA's construction project. The traffic lights in the area are only blinking, not operational, and DeYoung said in the statement that Commissioner Smalls will be monitoring the flow to see if police direction is needed until the lights have been programmed. The bypass will be officially opened on January 24th. The traffic island in Golden Rock got its bi-weekly facelift Saturday. The Rotary Club of St. Croix Mid-Isle has maintained the spot for the last 7 years, cutting the grass and keeping it litter-free. But on Saturday, they had help from Country Day students, and they also added some plantings.
About every 2 weeks we come out and do maintenance, clean up, trim the bushes, and today we've got our Interact Club from Country Day. There's about 30 kids total in the club. We've got about 8 to 9 of them out here this morning.
Chief Parrish, great job getting us a cruiser and a wonderful officer to work with us, and Senator O'Reilly is here providing us support. Our Rotarians are here, and our students, colleagues from Country Day School are here. So again, we do it every 2 weeks, but we do it fast and quiet. Just keep it looking nice.
Well, mark this on your calendar. Farmers, food, and lots of fun are all just a few days away with the celebration of the 16th annual Bordeaux Rastafari Agricultural and Cultural Food Fair. The event, which kicks off from 10 a.m. this Saturday and Sunday at the Bordeaux Ag Fairgrounds, will feature an abundance of tasty foods, plants, youth activities, fashion shows, and farm tours. Then at 5 p.m., the fair will host its Reggae in the Mountains concert. Musical acts include Midnight Band, Pressure, Jaman, Innovations, among others. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is straight ahead.